What's up, gamers? I'm making this video for all of my fellow Sorc mains that are looking for a fun, viable build, looking to boost your sorcerer's damage, or just looking to find something different to try. This build focuses a lot on movement, conjuration, and elemental damage in the form of frost, fire, and lightning. This is going to be a long video, but I'm going to separate everything with timestamps. If you want to fast forward to a specific part, feel free to, but I highly recommend you stick around for the whole thing, as I'm going to break down the entire build for you, and I'm going to be as thorough as I possibly know how to be. Oh yeah, and for all you haters out there, feel free to leave me some nasty comments and I'll make sure to react to them with hearts and smile emojis. But without further ado, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for more daily Diablo content in the future. And let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so first things first, as always, I'm going to show you my skills, my layout of my skills, and my enchantments, and why I have them the way that I do. So we're going to start off with our enchantments here. Fireball is a really big part of this build. The explosion you get from the Fireball enchantment, and with the Fireball's explosion modifier on it, it's definitely required. Probably one of the few things that's actually required of this build. This helps out a lot as well. Frost Nova enchant allows your conjuration skills to have a 30% chance to unleash a Frost Nova. So that includes our lightning spear, our ice blades, and our hydra have a chance to also cast a Frost Nova, which obviously with the modifier that makes Frost Nova make things vulnerable, you know, I'm casting Frost Nova, they're casting Frost Nova, my ice pants are casting Frost Nova, and then there's an enchant I also have, aspect I also have that, you know, gives the ability to CC the guy next to the guy that got CC'd, blah, blah, blah. There's just a lot of Frost Novaing happening here, which is going to give us bigger vulnerable damage and all that good stuff. So someone actually recommended this to me on my last video. I did not even realize this has so much good cohesiveness with the conjuration build, but it does. It works really well with it as well. So that's pretty nice. Now there is going to be a opportunity here pretty soon, as a matter of fact today, for me to add Raiment of the Infinite to my chest, simply because I've been looking for it, and I was literally recording this video and it just dropped right at the end of my recording. So that's pretty cool. So I have arraignment now to try that out. So I might be replacing this with teleport enchant, because if you don't know, the teleport enchant converts all of our evades into teleports, but I might also wait on that until I get some boots with evade charges on them, because that is a big part of that whole situation. But either way, we've got teleport, lightning spears, frost nova, ice blades, firebolt, and hydra. And as you can see, it's pretty crazy. We have 12 out of 5 skill points, more or less, on all of our conjuration skills, and I'll get to that in just a second. So now that we've got our enchantments out of the way, let's go ahead and get into our skill tree here. Now, the skill tree hasn't changed a lot since the last one. But we are going to take full 3 into Firebolt up to Glinting, so that our critical strikes from Firebolt increase the burning damage you deal by 20%. So this is going to make our Hydras really go crazy now. Now, the way that this works is you kind of have to run in, Hydra, Frost Nova, do whatever, and then you have to, like, in between all your conjuration skills, you need to be spamming Firebolt so that you can get that critical strike going, because your Hydra also, after you critically strike, your Hydras gain 30% increased critical strike chance. So the faster you crit with something, preferably this Firebolt here, because you also get the 20% damage increase. The faster you crit, the faster your Hydras crit, and also procs Isu's ferocity, and you're firing super fast, huge attack speed from your Hydras and your generator up here, Firebolt, and it's just absolutely insane, the attack speed and the crit chance and everything else that procs going off of that. Now Fireball we're using as an enchant and an enchant only, but with the enchant we can also take advantage of these modifiers here. So our radius is increased based on travel distance up to 50%. That doesn't really matter too much, but our critical strike damage is increased by 10% each time it hits an enemy. So this is like a domino effect situation with the fireball enchant on there is pretty nice. So that's all we have in the top two there. We're gonna come down here to teleport. I have 1 point in teleport, and I also have 1 point in Frost Nova. Now I do have +3 defensive skills on my amulet, and biggest reason is mainly for the Frost Nova cooldown reset, and plus we get a little extra cooldown reduction for teleport as well. We're not using either flame shield or ice armor at this point in the build. Further on down the line we might be able to. Right now currently I'm 77 and I can do nightmare 40s, fighting 95 between 90 and 95 mobs with no problems at all. No problems. We do take the vulnerable enchant here. The other enchant generates mana. We do not have mana problems, so we're not even going to mess with that. We also don't have any extra points into shimmering or mystical or enchanted teleport or any of that, which I might actually end up maybe trying to work that in with raiment, so we get more teleports, more stuns, more pull-ins, that type of thing. We go with Invoked Hydra down here on Conjuration. We go with Invoked Hydra for the huge critical strike chance boost. I actually haven't tried burn enemies for additional 12% of the base damage dealt. It doesn't sound as good as this. So because the way that the Barber heart works is it really builds up off a critical strike. So if you're critical striking things with your Hydra, this also gives us more critical strike chance, more chance that that Barber heart is absorbing more damage, and it's just going to blow up for a lot more. I've seen upwards of 3 to 4 million so far with the way that I have the build set up right now. If everything procs and runs the way that it should on a single mob, I can do about 3 or 4 million damage, which was pretty nice. We got another 12 out of 5 here on Ice Blades, and we went with the Enchanted Ice Blades cooldown reduction is applied to all of my other skills. So we get cooldown reduction right here, is reduced by 0.5 seconds each time it hits a vulnerable enemy. So if we've got Frost Novas going all crazy everywhere, they have a 100% chance to make this guy vulnerable for 4 seconds, and this guy blows up and he's vulnerable and everybody's vulnerable. Our Ice Blades chopping people, and it's reducing the cooldown of all 3 of our Conjuration skills as it's doing its work. So it's pretty nice. We almost have constant uptime on the Ice Blades. If I could find a little bit more cooldown reduction for my gear, that would be ideal to have 100% uptime on Ice Blades. And I believe there's also a piece of gear somewhere aspect that might give you additional Ice Blades or something along those lines. I haven't really delved into too much into these two as far as aspects go, because Hydra still carry the majority of the damage of this build, but this is just helping us out, you know, even more, especially since we have the enchantment board. Game connection's been lost and disconnected from the server. I'm making a video. Did it kick me because I was AFK? Hi, Anyway, we're back in. What happened? I don't know. That was weird. Stupid game. All right. Anyway, we've got 3 points into Conjuration Mastery here. We get 3% additional Conjuration damage, which is nice. We also take a little bit of protection here, and it gives us a barrier, because currently, I'm going to be getting rid of this probably, but currently I have on my amulet increased vulnerable damage while you have a barrier. I want to get rid of that and replace it with a stun immobilized frozen aspect. But I still have yet to find one for some reason, and currently the increased damage to vulnerable enemy with a barrier is stronger than the default, you know, aspect you can get from the guy in town or whatever. So yeah, so we're going with that for now, but the ideal plan is to get rid of these two once I get that enchant rocking back up again. We also have a 15% increase barrier duration, just simply to take full advantage of that. Take the most advantage of that as we can. All right, so we come down here. We do have some points to make our fire hit a little harder. I've got 3 Devouring Blades on my amulet, so I've got 3 to all Conjuration skills, and I'll show you guys in a second. 3 to all Conjuration skills, 3 to all the defensive skills, and 3 to Devouring Blades all in one amulet. It's pretty nice. I like it. I like it a lot. Could have crit damage percent on it, and then that would be just like the God Amulet, but we do have 3 in Crippling Flame, Inner Flame, Devouring Blaze as well. We go down a little bit further down here. We've got 3 in Firing Surge, which is killing a burn enemy, increase your mana regeneration. So this is where a lot of our mana regen comes from. This is our main mana regeneration situation right here. So we've also got 2 in Endless Pyre. Increase your burn damage to enemies for each second that they remain burning up to 10%. So increase damage to burning enemies, which is nice. I used to have these in here for healing because I actually thought the healing was pretty nice, but I kind of went away from them to get better things. And then we also have Isu's Ferocity here as well. All right, that pretty much does it for my skill tree. Let's go through my gear really quickly, and I'll try and, be pretty precise on why I have what I have. So in my mind, I was like, I can get +4 on my helmet and +3 on my necklace to everything Conjuration. So that way I can get as much benefit from Conjuration as absolutely possible. So I figured sacrificing anything else I could get on a helmet is totally worth it in exchange for +4 to Hydra, +4 to Ice Blades, and +4 to Lightning Spear. I got extremely lucky with this helmet. For a long time, I had one that was only +3 of everything, but I recently replaced it with this one that drops. So make sure you guys pay really close attention to all of your yellows and things that drop, because you just might have like a friggin' gem there. Chest here, we're about to replace this with raiment. I was getting damage reduction from using my basic skills, but I think we'll be able to swap this out pretty easily. And more or less our damage reduction is just going to be more or less damage evasion, because we're going to be pulling everybody in and stunning everybody. And it'll be nice to have this back in my arsenal since the preseason. So I'm stoked about that. My voice, I'm 3 years old, so it doesn't work too good. Anyway, on the gloves, here we go, is one of our crazy Frost Nova things that we got going on here. When you hit a crowd control enemy, there's a 40% chance for that crowd control effect to spread to another unaffected enemy. So if I Frost Nova guy and hit him, he might Frost Nova the guy next to him over and over again. Combined with the Ice Heart Brace, enemies that die while frozen have a 19% chance to unleash Frost Nova. So this, combined with the enchant, combined with me just casting Frost Novas, also getting my direct damage has a 6% chance to reset the cooldown of defensive skills. Frost Nova, if you did not know, is a defensive skill. So Frost Nova's everywhere. CC everywhere, chain CC, just everything, and it all explodes, and it's just all a bunch of good fun. The boots, I do have the cold boots that make everything slow and then deal additional damage to chilled enemies. I honestly, what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for, especially now that I have raiment, I'm looking for some just yellow boots that just have, I don't think I got any from this loot run. Wow, I didn't get any boots at all. That's crazy. I'm looking for something with max evade charges. I'm also looking for Frost Nova. And I'm looking for movement speed as well. So as long as I can find some boots with like +2 evade charges, +3 evade charges, and they have movement speed and Frost Nova points, then that's what I want. That's all I want. I just want that. So these will go bye-bye. But oddly enough, most of the boots I see have evade charges and no movement speed, or no evade charges and movement speed. So I want the two combined. I know they exist because I had them on my old account, or my previous sorcerer. So that's something that I'm also looking for. The staff here we've got is 805 with damage per second at 2583. I haven't seen another staff that has this much damage on it. It rolled 45% critical strike damage, which is a huge stat for this build. Like I said, for the Barber Heart, it critical strikes and all subsequent damage are absorbed and then explode. So any sort of crit damage that you can do, my current crit damage is 186, which is pretty nice. My crit chance is a little on the low side, and that's fine. Actually, it's not too bad sitting at 20%, to be fair. So yeah, this is huge. The only thing I would change is the damage to frozen and damage to slowed, because that really doesn't help me out too much. But the critical strike damage, intellect, and just the base damage of the staff is really good. I would also like to see a 100% increased attack speed Isu's Ferocity imprint, but you know, you can't get everything that's amazing right off the bat. But okay, so here comes the necklace. This is what I was talking about. Deal 32% increased damage while you have a barrier. So if I go to the guy right now, where's he at? If I come over here and I want the damage, the control glyph, I think is what it is, the control aspect. Let's see here. So control, aspect of control, maybe, where's that? What in the world? Where the heck is it? Maybe I actually don't have it unlocked. Here it is right here, aspect of control. You deal 25% more damage to immobilized, stunned, or frozen enemies. So I would go ahead and take this and go to this dungeon, unlock it, and put it on my gear. But this has 32% increased damage while I have a barrier. I almost always have a barrier. So the difference here. So this used to be 25% damage if they're immobilized, and another 25 if they're stunned, and another 25 if they're frozen. Which this build would do that because we're constantly immobilizing people. Rainment teleports are going to stun everybody, and we're also going to be frost noving everybody. So essentially, we would have 75% increased damage, but they nerfed that back down to where it only is 25% damage across the board, no matter how many different CCs you have. But I would like to see this drop on a higher tier so that I can put it on this necklace and replace this barrier thing, so I don't have to rely so much on barriers, and I'll just pretty much have constant damage uptime, which would be nice. So go down the rings. The rings, I pretty much prioritize critical strike damage and chance. I don't really need the chance as much because, like I said, if we have ways to boost up our chance in fights, which is pretty nice. But the damage is the most important part. The max life and all that other stuff is fine. I've been trying to re-roll this to Vuln damage, but it's costing me like 10 million gold now, so I'm not even going to mess with it because I've only got 14 million. So yeah. Something I am looking for to replace this ring, because I want another ring with an orange socket, and plus I need to replace this ring since it costs so much to freaking re-roll it anyway. As far as the ring goes, I'm looking for crit damage, crit chance, vulnerable damage, and an orange socket. If I can't get vulnerable damage, that's fine. Obviously, that's pretty high to a god tier roll on this kind of stuff. And constantly looking here, like we got this orange socket guy here. And the main reason I want an orange socket is we get the 10% increased damage for each individual element that we utilize. We're using 3 elements, taking full advantage of that. But there is also some better orange hearts that seem to do more damage. This one specifically, the purple heart here, 20% is a max roll. Incoming damage instead suppressed. When you use a defensive skill, all of it is amplified and explodes. But it's capped at 17,649. If it wasn't capped, this would be sick because we're absorbing damage, then we frost nova and then it explodes. But like I said, it's capped at 17k, which when you're hitting for 1 million literally does nothing. Absolutely friggin' nothing. So this is a waste, a huge waste, and I want to be able to take more advantage of just strictly percent based thing like this with the other orange ones. I can't remember right off the top of my head which one does what, but the orange ones are better. The orange hearts are better than these freaking purple hearts. So that pretty much sums that part up. Hopefully I haven't lost anybody yet. If you're still watching this video, do me a favor and drop down in the comments and just say blah. Just say blah, just so that I know I still got your attention here. Either way, now the last and final part of this whole thing. We've went through the enchants, we've went through the gear, we've went through the abilities. Now it's on to my Paragon board layout. So we're going to go through this very gently and carefully, and I will have pictures and everything of all this stuff in my Discord in an updated channel. For instance, let me open this up real quick. So right here in the Diablo chat, we have build 726, which is the first build I announced, 728, and then today's will be 731 right above this. So make sure you go to the Diablo chat up here in the top right, click on threads, and then it will be in here as well with 731 2023 on there. So if you want that, go for it. But we're gonna fly through this real quick. If you want to pause the video and copy it down, feel free. But we're going into non-physical damage here all the way up. The first glyph that we have is a level 15 Conjurer's glyph. That's going to give our conjuration skills increased damage and also increased duration. This is a really good place to have this glyph simply because we have 70 intelligence in this area. And for each different intelligence that we add in, you can see it's at 140. If I take one away, it's at 130. So the more intelligence we can take advantage of, the better for this specific glyph. It's going to give us more conjuration skill damage. And if you did not see, my conjuration skill damage is at, where the heck is it? 277.1%. So we've got a lot of that. So that's pretty nice. We come up here just to get, literally just to get the additional 10 intelligence out of this yellow node here. Don't really need that, but that additional 10% damage is nice. Actually, that's 20% from that, since it's 10 intelligence, goes up every 5, 10 every 5. So anyway, we come up here. We've got the Unleash glyph here, which is not probably the best thing in the world, but the reason I did get this one is because it grants a bonus to all the magical nodes in range. And guess what? We've got conjuration skill nodes right here. So I wanted to make sure, trying to take advantage of that, as well as the increased damage and gained 6.7%. Yeah. So we get 6.7% increased damage, 6.7% increased mana regeneration. This one does cap at 40 intelligence, so there is no point in adding more than 40 intelligence for this one specifically. Here we have your conjuration skills have a 5% chance, or 5% reduced cooldown or mana cost. So if you don't know, the lightning spear and the ice blades have a cooldown. Hydra does not. It has a mana cost. So I mean, obviously they all cost mana, but this one is going to reduce the cooldown of ice spear and ice blades, or lightning spear and ice blades, and then reduce the mana cost of Hydra. So that's pretty awesome. We're also going to grab the attack speed and conjuration skills here and go on to our next board, which is going to be the Searing Heat board. Now, the reason I went into this one was specifically for this critical strike damage increase. That is all I wanted from this. This is the only board, I believe, that gives you critical strike damage. Obviously, we're not taking full advantage of this glyph, or this little yellow node here, because we don't have enough decks, but that's not a big deal. I really wanted that critical strike. Some of you might have seen in the beginning, I have 197% critical strike damage, which is a little bit on the high end, for especially for a sorcerer. We don't have much ways to obtain that kind of crit damage. But yeah, this is pretty much where I wanted to go, because everything scales off the critical strike damage. We come on down here, and then we get into the destruction glyph, which I am still currently working on leveling up. It's only level 9 right now. Once it gets to 15, this one does scale with the amount of dexterity you have in it. So we've got 25.7 increased critical strike damage from this glyph, and every time we add another dex into it, it goes up. So if you look around, we've got another 5 here, another 10, so that's 10 total. And then we got 24 total right there, additional dexterity that we'll be able to stack on top of this to also furthermore increase our critical strike damage, which is going to be nice. So yeah, that's pretty much my Paragon board as of right now. I still have a long way to go. I still have some renown to get as well. I've completed 3 zones, I believe. Yep, 3 zones for those extra Paragon points. I still got these 2 to go. I tried to power through it last night, but it didn't happen because it's boring and I hate having to do it all over again. You know what I mean? But either way, guys, I hope you got some value from this video. I'm going to do a quick full run through a dungeon. We're going to go probably tier 33, I guess. I'm going to empty my bag. So if you want to stick around and just see kind of what this build does in real time, and my survivability wise of everything here, you'll be able to stick around and see that. So let's get rid of all this crap that I'm not even going to look at like a dum-dum. Actually, I've kind of already skimmed through it already anyway. So all right, let's roll. I think I repaired already. Yep. I also stream live every night on Twitch. Not every night Diablo, but we are doing some Diablo. Did some Diablo last night and things. So, all right, here we go. Let's go show you the build. All right, I'll kind of try and explain and walk through a little bit of like what I do in here and why I do it, and keep you guys, nice and commentated throughout this little adventure here. So what affixes do we have? We've got increased poison damage, which really isn't going to help us out much. Monster fire damage, overpower resist. So we're not doing overpower damage, so this is easy peasy. So let's go ahead and get in here. Let's make sure we take our XP pot, which I personally craft the strong precision elixir, which gives us critical strike chance and damage, which is pretty nice. So let's run through this. Looks like we got to kill all the enemies. So pretty much any mob I come up on, I just could double cast Hydra on. And the cool thing about Hydra is wherever you cast it, say you cast it on a mob. Let's see if I can just find one little guy here that's not getting wrecked already. So like this pink guy right here, right? I can literally click on, hold on now. I can click on him and the Hydras go straight for him, because obviously we have to kill him because he's suppressing all the damage from everybody else. So it's pretty nice to have that like accuracy to just go right on top of them there. Same with corpse bows. I hate corpse bows, so this is huge for that. All right, obviously we got a little bit of help from the blast wave shrine there. I probably should have just not picked that up, but it's all good. This is real world application. You will see blast shrines around everywhere. So here we go. We're going to do our auto attack, which with the current build is going to give us a damage is increased for each. So it's going to give us damage reduction just because of the enchant that we have on our chest. But we are going to be replacing that pretty soon. So the way that I play this build is every time ice blades or lightning spears off cooldown, I smash it. I try to save my Frost Nova for whenever I'm really taking a lot of damage. And same with teleport. I just kind of just try and, you know, buy me some time to hit a health pot. But every time blades and spears off cooldown, I'm pressing it, and I'm always resetting my Hydras. Because one thing that is kind of slightly important here, especially if I'm trying to do big damage to an elite, is every time I cast Hydra, when you cast Hydra, there's an initial damage that happens when you actually cast Hydra on top of somebody. So say that person is here, so I cast 2, and then I'll like continuously just like run around and cast more of them. Obviously my mana is going down, so I can't do it a ton, but there's like an initial damage, and then there's a burn damage. Like, see the burn on the floor there? That burn actually does burn the floor, which is pretty cool. Mobs will just get burned just running through it, which is kind of nice. So anytime you're wanting to do like the most maximum damage that you can do, right? Get this guy out of here. Now, the biggest damage you'll see is when you kill an enemy and then kill an elite, because it activates that Isu's ferocity. But if you don't know, there's a lot of buffs coming very soon, and it's going to solve a lot of that issue where we're just going to get like for boss fights specifically, we're going to be getting huge damage increase for Isu's ferocity versus bosses, because we don't need to kill something in order to get that crazy attack speed bonus. So it's like we're gonna melt bosses a lot faster, because that's, I mean, I can still kill bosses fairly easily, but you know, that poison, man, poison hurts so freaking much. Yeah, we can still kill bosses pretty easily, but it's gonna be a lot easier with Isu's ferocity doing what it's gonna be doing with bosses and all that good stuff. But let's see here. These mobs are level 87, which is actually 11 levels higher than me. I guess I need to start going up a little bit more. I can do 40s, but I was just doing this comfortably because you only benefit from 10 levels higher. As far as nightmare dungeons go, you only benefit from up to 10 levels higher as far as XP goes. So there's really no point. I've got nothing to prove as far as flexing on anybody in my stream or anything, so I just do the 10 level higher one. But I have pushed like up to 44, which I believe is like 102 or something mobs. And I've also killed, Jesus Christ, I've killed the Echo of Varshan guy like 20 times now. Once you figure out how to kill him, this is a really good build for killing him. I'm actually can't wait to go take this to Uber Lilith once we actually get to a decent level requirement. I'd be internet famous if I killed her at 77 with this. That'd be stupid, but there's no way. There's no way I could do that right now. But I'm not saying that there's no way we can't do it in the future, because I still have a whole lot of upgrades that I'm looking for, and that makes me happy to know that I still have, you know, the build does as well as it does right now, and I still have upgrades to find, which makes me pretty stoked. Pretty stoked, and we still have, I don't even know, like, I don't even know how many more Paragon points we still get, so we still got a long ways to go, but we're making it, getting there. I do enjoy other video games outside of Diablo, so I'm not dumping all of my time into leveling, but I sure am trying to get there quickly. I gotta find the other pedestal thing so we can get on with this. Uh-oh. We're good. We're good. We got big damage coming out, but I'm also taking huge damage from this stupid poison puddle. And the best part about this whole thing is you can kind of walk away, man. You can kind of walk away and just let your Hydras do the work, because it's not like they can die. They don't pull aggro or anything, but they definitely can't die, which is kind of nice. All right, I'm gonna just let these guys do the work over here and come clean this place up. Actually, gotta bring him with me. Get rid of the corpse bow, put him on him so he starts taking mad damage. Okay, try not to die. Holy crap. Dying is still an issue, and I think dying is going to be an issue for a while with Sorks. But it seems like in this upcoming patch that they're going to be adding a little bit of survivability, which is pretty nice. Especially since I don't have too many problems dying. But if I just didn't die at all, dude, like, I could probably push 30 levels higher than me if I really wanted to. Because we definitely do the damage for it. Alright, so let's run to the end here. Get out of here. You can also see the huge explosions from Fireball and Frost Nova over and over and over and over again. They just kind of last forever. There we go. Get them out of here. And let me show you guys what we can do to a boss. Now, if the boss spawns adds currently, that would help us out a lot. But I don't, most of them don't. It's not a big deal. We could try and make it in there before Isus is up, but it's already up. Plus, we got this monolith thing here. We got our Hydras down preemptively. We're going to go Lightning Spear, Ice Blade, and just pretty much just sit back and auto attack him and hope he spawns walls, which he did. So as soon as he spawns walls, that's GG's for him, because now we've got huge attack speed, and you can see it coming out right there as long as we're not standing in the Silence Tornado. Little 970k to finish it off, and yeah, that's my build, guys. I hope you liked it. If you're still watching now all the way to this point, thank you so much. I appreciate you. You guys are helping me make this happen. So we're gonna upload this, and I will see you all on the next one. Let me know in the comments too if you've got any suggestions for me to try for this build that you think will substantially boost it up. But we'll see you guys on the next one. Like, subscribe. Peace out.